Alright, man, peace. So, brothers, in this episode of SIMP Chronicles, we're just going to investigate a new phenomenon that you're going to start to hear about more and more on the mainstream liberal media, that being what they're calling non-monogamous consensual relationships, which basically is a very fancy way of saying, nigga, if you expect or hope to be in any type of long-term relationship with a modern-day female, you better become accustomed to the fact that she's going to be able to go out and fuck whoever she wants, whenever she wants, whether it be male or female. And you should consider yourself lucky if you're blessed with one of these little microcosms of the mother goddess in your household and she says, babe, I give you permission to go out and fuck another woman too. But you know why she's going to give you that permission? Because once again, she's a pansexual. Brothers, if you ever hear one of these modern day liberal females that you think you're trying to build a quote unquote relationship with broach the subject of being in a non-monogamous consensual type relationship archetype, it's because she goes both ways. That's it. Because as we're going to see over the course of this segment, when they bring up the topic or the concept of being in a non-monogamous relationship, they're not really referring to what the scriptures tell us, which is that a man can have more than one wife. What they're saying is that the woman now is so free, she can go out and have sex with whoever she wants, and that's really the only way for you to have a long-lasting relationship with the modern-day female from here forward. So be prepared to hear a lot of these concepts get promoted, especially on social media with many of these woke quote-unquote women, whether they be white, black, Hispanic, whatever. They're going to try to start bringing this heavy on the man because they do not want you to be the head of the household at all. And that's why I'm putting this video into the SIMP Chronicles series, because they're trying to make you think that you're going to have the freedom to have sex with whoever you want, but you're really not. You're not going to have any control. And over a period of time, you're going to become incrementally emasculated, as we're going to see with this couple here. I believe their names are Alex and Bridget. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
The idea of a consensual non-monogamous relationship is traditionally a taboo topic. It certainly is with Gail. Yeah. Now a new CBSN Originals documentary is exploring exactly what that looks like.
And you know what, brothers, when I get the opportunity, I'll probably do a video on that entire documentary because I think that it's that important. Because I definitely see that coming from around the corner. That's going to be the new bullet in one of the chambers of the gun that the liberal woman is going to start firing at a lot of you cats out there who don't quite understand what's going on to the degree that you should. Oh, well, you know, I think that as things are changing in society, we have to free ourselves up more. And it's okay if you want to go out and sleep with another woman because I'm going to have other men and it's part of my development and growth as a person. That's just a fancy way of saying that the bitch is going through an elongated hoe phase. That's all this is. And I'm going to be covering that as well in another video.
Consensual non-monogamy is considered any relationship arrangement in which the partners openly agree to have more than one sexual or romantic relationship. Research shows 1 in 5 single adults have tried consensual non-monogamy at some.
So what that really means is that probably about 3 in 5 people have been in a quote-unquote consensual non-monogamous relationship, but 2 out of the 5 have not known about it. Because a lot of you brothers out there are quote-unquote dating a woman and you think that that person in her phone or those numbers in her phone are from a quote-unquote male friend or a male colleague from work. And in reality, she's just biding her time until she has the opportunity to have sex with that person. So you have to be very wary and very vigilant in what's going on in your life. You should not be trying to attack the woman and creating all these false boundaries for her to abide by. At the end of the day, if she's a hoe, she's going to be a hoe. Cut her off and let her go about her business. It's very important that cats know exactly what they're going to tolerate and what they're not, so that they can cut it off at the head right away. What the woman wants to do is bicker back and forth, obfuscate, deflect, project, and you get caught up in it. Next thing you know, you start to lose your mind incrementally. And then on top of that, eventually, you might start to have homicidal thoughts. And that's where these stories come from. People don't understand. They're like, damn, why did homeboy stab this chick up 47 times? You know why he did that? Because he actually bought into who she tried to present herself as initially. And after a while, he was so entranced by this person that even though she was revealing herself moment by moment, he was just letting it go because he was still caught up with who she tried to present herself as initially. People are never who they try to act like they are initially. So it's just a matter of being patient and being vigilant.
Brooklyn couple Alex and Bridget are in an open marriage. They live together, but both date other people.
In reality, the female is a pansexual, the dude is a simp. And in order for him to maintain a relationship with her, he has to allow her to do whatever she wants, and she tells him, you can go out and get another female as well. Why is that? Because she most likely goes both ways as well.
Discusses what it is like when his wife has a date planned at home with someone else. He calls it getting sexiled.
Dude gets sexiled out of his own damn house. Ain't that a bitch?
Sexiling is when you look at the calendar, like, oh, tomorrow so-and-so is coming over and Bridget is hosting. That means that I need to find something to do.
So your bitch ass has to leave your own house so that your quote-unquote woman can get robbed from another man. And you agreed to this bullshit. So there was a time when the dude had to look at the calendar and try to discern when his woman's menstrual cycle was going to come, because he knew that he would have to depart or keep his distance from her for those 5 or 6 days. Now this motherfucker here, he has to look at his calendar to say to himself, okay, well, she's on her period for these 4 or 5 days, and then Barry's going to hit it on the 1st of the month to the 5th of the month, and then Larry's going to hit it on the 15th of the month to the 20th of the month, and then I'll get maybe 3 or 4 days out the month to hit it.
Late, or go see a movie, or hang out with a friend, or go to the bar.
Unbelievable. This dude's sitting down at the bar talking to the bartender, and the bartender's like, hey, Alex, what's going on? Why you here so late? Oh, Bridget's getting her back blown out again. She got a big black guy this time. Name's Raheem. I hope there's still some coochie walk left for me tomorrow after he's done. So anyway, what's the score of the game?
Been together for 8 years now, and at least the way I feel is there's so much unspoken certainty between us. And
the reason why she said that there's so much unspoken certainty between them is because she knows that she has established a soul tie over him, not just with him, but over him, where she's confident that he's not going to go anywhere because he's a simp. Many of these females know that they cannot deal with a quote-unquote long-term, much less lifelong relationship with one man. So they have to try to concoct and create all these different dynamics. That's why I'm telling you, brothers, this is going to be the new thing that they're trying to push. They're going to try to claim that men should want to invest in this because they're going to be able to have sex with other women as well. But in reality, it's all about the woman. And a woman is not going to want to do this unless she goes both ways. And she's probably going to try to urge him, if she hasn't already, to go both ways himself.
I give credit to Alex. Alex is one of the most loyal people I've ever met. More than I could ever even hope to be.
Now, I hope that you brothers heard that. This modern day liberal female here, she said something that was very revelatory. She said that Alex is very loyal. Way more loyal than I could ever hope to be. So many brothers out here trip over this concept of the female being loyal. Women by nature are not loyal, other than to their children, and that's because the Most High gave them the maternal DNA. You understand that? So when dudes out here try to put the woman on a pedestal, that's why it's so important that we address the simp dynamic, because the woman is actually empowered through the worship of men. The man is the leader, the man is the head, he's the prime mover. So in order for the woman to gain power, she has to try to convince simple-minded men that they should put her on some type of elevated pedestal. And then they go from there. But the woman essentially and intrinsically is not loyal. She's going to follow whoever has power. The power that she's getting from Alex is that he's giving her attention, but she also gets the quote-unquote freedom that she needs to get the energies from other men that she's not getting from him. That's why a lot of cats say, oh man, you know, these females, they like these dudes that's always getting in trouble with the law and so on and so forth. Why is that? Because the woman is an agent of chaos. And dudes who are constantly getting caught up in the criminal justice system are also agents of chaos. So there's a natural ionization there. There's a natural charge. There's a natural affinity there. You have to understand the woman. Don't try to change the woman. Understand them. The woman will cast herself. Like if you ever see footage of a casting director trying to find which actors and actresses are going to play certain roles in a theater production or in a television show or a movie, they already know how they want to cast you from when you walk in the room. When you walk in the room, they look at you and they say, okay, you're 6'2" with a chiseled physique, square jaw, you're going to play the hero. Or you walk in the room and you have a hook nose and a hunchback and a receding hairline, and they say, okay, you're going to play the villain. They already know how they're going to cast you. That's why you don't see movies where Steve Buscemi plays a superhero. You understand that? There are not going to be too many films where Chris Evans plays the villain, because they're going to cast you based on your looks. The same thing in real life. When the woman approaches, she's going to show you how you're supposed to cast her very early. And you have to take your time, because there are some actresses that are better than others. The main component of our lives is that we have to be true to ourselves. Almost everyone else that we encounter in life is going to be an actor or an actress in some way, especially the woman. They put up so many multi-layered forms of acting or theater per se. That's why it's very easy for them to lie to someone else, and they're not even aware that they're lying, because the woman spends most of her life trying to lie to herself. Once they've created that wall of delusion around themselves and their own world, it's very easy for them to push that on others. And if you're a man who lives your life trying to satisfy or satiate the whims of a woman, you're going to lose your mind. I promise you that. That's why it's important that you know when it's over. Women like to string out events, relationships when they're over, because they need to leave having packed their bags mentally and emotionally. They have to feel like they're not the assailant but the victim. And it's only when they've been able to create that situation that they're ready to quote unquote end a quote unquote relationship and move on to the next. It's the job of the man, and I'm talking to you so-called black men out there, to understand what our life hierarchy is supposed to be. When the woman is in her right mind, she's beautiful, she's essential, she's integral. But they're being raised in a culture that is telling them to embrace the baser aspects of their being. And when they're not under the moderation of a man, they're going to bring all types of anarchy and chaos everywhere. That's why the media is working through the woman in the same way that the serpent worked through the woman, because they know how she's configured. She's configured to cause confusion.
This is so loyal. Like, if we do skip a date night, or if he...
You know what, brothers? I'm going to rewind this back for a moment, because it's very important what she states here. Okay, so now, brothers, let's pay very close attention to what she says here once again.
We've been together for 8 years now.
And the only reason why they've been together for 8 years is because he's basically a bearskin rug that she's allowed to walk over. That's the only reason, and that's why I'm stating once again, this is going to be the new relationship archetype or paradigm that they want to push on men, or that they're going to be trying to push on men. They're going to sell it once again as, you should be happy with this because you can go out and have other women as well. But it's really more about the woman. And if and when she ever becomes impregnated by his child, I promise you, she's going to change up on him so fast, he's going to lose what little mind he has left.
At least the way I feel is there's so much unspoken certainty between us. And this, I give credit to Alex. Alex is one of the most loyal people I've ever met. More than I could ever even hope to be. Alex.
Once again, brothers, please listen to what she stated. He is way more loyal than she could ever hope to be. Men by nature are supposed to be loyal because the concept of a man's word has always held more power and more gravity than a woman's word. You've never heard the statement that a woman is supposed to stand by her word. You've never heard that, and you never will. Because even women know that their word is basically worthless. It does not mean much. A woman's word only counts in the moment when she's feeling that sensation in the moment. So therefore, if her word does not matter, how can a concept like loyalty be something that she can truly comprehend?
Is so loyal. If we do skip a date night, or if he sees somebody 3 nights a week and we haven't had dinner together yet, I know this sounds maybe crazy to some people, but it really doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you because you know that you have him under control. Even if he's quote unquote on a date 3 nights out of the week, and most of the time, just looking at this dude, he's probably not even out there on a date. He's probably telling her that he's out on a date so that she doesn't feel too guilty, or he's thinking, let me not make her feel guilty about how she's shitting on me. So let me tell her that I'm going out on a date 3 nights a week. Maybe 1 night a week he's out with somebody else. But them other 2 nights, he's at the pool hall shooting pool with his friends who are trying to make him feel like less of a loser. But she's firmly in control of this whole thing.
Because I just know at the end of the day that Alex isn't going anywhere.
I have not told my mom, I haven't told my stepfather, and I haven't told my stepmother.
Because you know you dead ass wrong, that's why.
So, really,
How you been with a bro for 8 years, getting shitted on like this? Sharted on, really. A shart is a combination of a shit and a fart, because that's what she's doing to his ass. She's sharding on him. You've been with her for 8 years, and your parents don't know that you're being emasculated like this. that shows you that he knows that he's wrong.
All my friends know, non-family members know, but in terms of family, I'm still taking my time on that. Before this airs, I'm going to tell them all.
Look at you crying like a $2 bitch. You know you're dead ass wrong, Alex.
I guess that I just want them to know
that you're a hoe.
I love them all very much. And it's just very...
It's very difficult to confess how big of a hoe you are.
It's scary for me to tell them
how much of a $2 bitch you've been acting like for the last 8 years.
I really am.
I know how you really are, dude. I know. And I know why you're scared to tell him. Because let me have a son and I'm at home chilling and he called me up talking about, hey, Dad, I'm at the bar right now. Can we talk for about an hour? Because Tasha's upstairs getting her back blown out by somebody else because that's our relationship convention. I'm be like, I'm sorry, hold on 1 second, son. When I come back on the line, be like, son, I just want you to know that my lawyer is also on the line. Since you like three-ways so much, it's going to be a three-way conversation. He's drawing up the papers to have your ass disowned. So figure out what you want your new last name to be, because I'm not going to have nobody as bitch made as you calling yourself my son. Ain't nowhere in the world you're supposed to allow another man to be blowing your woman's back out and you're okay with that shit. Bye. Click.
Because the last thing I want is for them to reject me.
Well, I think they probably know now. Adam, yep.
Alex is done. And yes, they do know now.
He is the executive producer of CBSN Originals and joins us to discuss the new documentary. Adam, good morning.
You guys are just bursting with...
I know. For Adam, I couldn't even say good morning, but I go, Adam, you have to explain this to me because I don't understand and I don't like it.
Well, Gail, let's be for real. You can't even keep one man, much less have more than one or be in a relationship with a man and another woman. So, I mean, let's not even touch on what you're thinking right now.
Adam, what are some of the biggest misconceptions?
Yes.
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that people assume that this is just about one big orgy.
That's part of it. But what it's mostly about is appeasing the woman. And a lot of people might not understand why I'm saying that. They may also be saying, wait a minute, aren't you the person who says a man can have more than one woman? Absolutely. Because men and women are not equal. When I address things on a spiritual level. When you see a segment like this, the reason why the woman is so gung-ho for it, she already told you. She is nowhere near as loyal as her man. The man is more loyal to her. So it's okay for him to allow her to have more than one man and or woman or whatever she's doing. And to appease him, she tells him, okay, if you want to, you can have another chick as well, as long as I maintain the control over you. That's what it's about. It's about appeasing her. When you read the scriptures, the man presided over his wives and or concubines in order. That's why the most important thing for brothers to assess whenever they're speaking to a female is what caliber of female are they? Because the caliber of the woman cannot be changed. She's either some type of concubine or she's a wife. There's only one type of wife, but there are various types of concubines and various levels of concubines, especially in this society where the woman is basically raised to be a harlot / concubine. So once you figure that out, everything else should be okay, because once you ascertain what type of woman you're dealing with, that's also going to help you understand to what level you're going to interact with that woman. But they're trying to push this concept of non-monogamous consensual relationships to appease the woman and her bursting liberality from common or antiquated quote-unquote relationship conventions. This is all about the woman.
And the reality is that the people that we talk to say, look, this is far more than just about sex or just about casual sex. These people who are actually committed. They've agreed that they will have multiple partners. And in some cases, in this doc, we met a quad. That's 4 people, 2 couples that are raising a set of children together.
Imagine that shit, a quad. Now, brothers, you know, when you get into bed and lay down with these women, it's hard enough sharing the bed with one woman. These bros, they be sleeping all wide, body in a damn star position. You're like, damn, girl, we in a queen size or king size bed. You 5'7", but your goddamn arm is stretched all the way across. I can't even lay down and sleep in peace. Imagine being in bed with 3 other motherfuckers. You spooning with another dude and 2 women. Get the hell out of here with that bullshit. You in bed talking about, hey, Randy, I don't know why you got the remote down that low, but can you back up, please? That better be the remote. What kind of bullshit is this?
Yeah, but having a relationship is about depending on that person for things that you need. So I think of Alex there, who's sexiled on certain nights. Well, what if that's the night that he really needs to have a conversation with his significant other about what's going on in his life?
Because the only thing that's going on in Alex's life is how to please his queen, that being Bridget. That's why she states she could never be as loyal as him. That's why even though they're trying to project in the segment that everything is even or equal in the relationship, it's very clear that she is the dominant one. That's why he's the person who broke down and started crying, because he's not getting any real satisfaction out of the relationship, but he has a soul tie to that female. A lot of you brothers are in these long relationships with these females, what they call today quote unquote toxic relationships. You've been with her for 7-8 years, but the relationship has not been bountiful or fruitful for 5.5 or 6 years. You're just holding on because you've been told that you should be trying to hold on to this person. That's why it's very important that you're able to evaluate who you're dealing with as early as possible so that you don't string shit along. Or sometimes you have a child with the broad too early and you're stuck with her. So make sure that you take your time and know who and what you're dealing with.
That up, I guess.
I think they would also tell you that, well, that's partially why I have somebody else to go to. He has a girlfriend, she has a boyfriend. So if he is sexiled, well, he now has somebody.
Brothers, I've always stated that the only reason why the woman has an issue with a man having more than one woman in order is because that's what they want. When you truly understand what feminism is about, and many of the tenets of the Babylonian Kemetic mystery school system, it's all about the elevation and the exaltation of the mother goddess over the masculine principle. So now this nonsense about non-monogamous relationships or non-monogamous consensual relationships is a way for the woman to incrementally go about having more than one man, and the men, so-called men, really males, being okay with it.
I think whatever consenting adults want to do should be between consenting adults. I get that.
No, you don't believe that. None of you modern liberal females believe that other people's personal lives are just their business, especially if it's something that a woman is doing. That's why Gayle King is so flummoxed right now, because she's accustomed to men having more than one woman, and then she could jump in real quick and say, girl, you're going to tolerate that? You're going to allow that? You know how many women have had their happy homes ruined by listening to another woman? So Gayle is at an impasse right now. She's like, wait a minute. This concept of non-monogamous partnerships or relationships, even she can sense that it's really being stipulated by the woman, at least the one in the segment. So this is really messing with her mind. What little mind she has left.
But I think about the family structure, and I think about...
Since when do you women care about the family structure? Knock it off. The vast majority of modern day liberal females do not care about the family structure. It's just something that they talk about on television and on the internet to sound like they're constructive as opposed to destructive, which is what the vast majority of them are. If you're truly concerned about the quote-unquote family structure, then you understand that the man is the head. If you don't accept that, then you're not concerned about the family structure. That's why I state that very little that the woman really says can be trusted, because she has created a false reality in her mind based on false narratives that she has been taught. And all those false narratives are taught to her because they appeal to her ego. The woman is all about her ego. That's why they're currently trying to abduct that term narcissist and apply it to men, because they know it truly applies to themselves. But they're trying to get the jump on the use of that word narcissist and the concept behind it, because they know it truly applies to them. So to make a long story short, the solution is always going to come from men who have a three-dimensional thought process.
Children, and I just think those things should matter. So how do they navigate that?
Yeah,
what message does this send to your children?
Sure. I mean, it's a tricky thing that that many of these couples and quads and triads grapple with. In fact, the quad that's raising the children together acknowledge that this is strange.
Yes.
This is very strange to tell their kids that they aren't.
Gayle King, I have news for you. This is the next evolutionary step in the female empowerment agenda. It's not enough that women just stand up and say, I don't have to be with a man if I don't want to. It's not enough that a woman say, I'm going to choose the man that I'm going to be with. Now it's, I'm going to choose to be with multiple men. And if a man wants to be with me for the long term, he's going to have to accept that. And in turn, I may accept him having other women if I also find women attractive. That's what this is about. That's why I say this is what is around the corner. So brothers should be very aware of that. This is what is around the corner.
Involved in a quad. The way they sort of look at it is, well, now you have 4 parental figures who can be instrumental in shaping you and molding you into adulthood.
All right, that's looking at the positive. A lot of husbands and wives looking at each other on the couch right now like, don't even ask.
Don't
even bring it up.
Don't try.
I have news for you. A lot of husbands and wives, quote unquote, are sitting on the couch and they're already in non-monogamous relationships. They're just not consensual. There's been no consent.
Oh, yeah. All right, Adam Yamaguchi, thank you very much. And you can stream.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. As I've stated, I might just do a video about the entire documentary. I just need to find some time to do it. It'll probably be down the line. But once again, brothers, you're going to see this notion, this sentiment start to get pushed and promoted in this society more and more. This was just a teaser. More and more females, they really have no intent on being in a long-term relationship with a man. They get bored and they have to concoct things in their head to make up so that they can justify why they're bringing their kalima, destructive nature, into the quote-unquote relationship. But the woman also knows when she has found a man who has qualities that are going to be very difficult to replace. So in order to make everything work, they're going to try to keep that man, but also still go out and have their fun. And in turn, they're going to tell the man, you know what, it's okay if you go out and have your fun as well. But it's only going to be if the woman is a pansexual. She's going to have to also find women attractive. And I think that that's an element of this case or this story that they were not willing to touch on. I believe that Bridget is a quote-unquote bisexual or pansexual, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, peace.